We'll give everyone about a minute to join. Welcome, everyone. Okay, welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. In this webinar, we will introduce the Champion Benchmark Assessment and explain how it helps customers assess their current QAD environment. If you are a QAD customer and want a clearer understanding of your journey to adaptive, the Champion Benchmark is the first practical step. In this session, we will explain what the Champion Benchmark is, how it works, and what kind of insights customers can expect from the assessment. To help us explore this important topic, I'm excited to introduce two of our experts, Tom Roberts, QAD's Vice President of Strategic Industry Development, and Wojciech Saron, QAD's Manager of Business Consulting. They will explain what the Champion Benchmark is, how it works, and what kind of insights customers can expect from this assessment. If you have any questions during the presentation, feel free to send them in via the Q&A button, and we'll address as many as we can during the live Q&A. With that, I'll hand it over to Tom to get us started.
All right, thank you. Wojciech, let's get started. All right, let's talk about the context. So on the next slide, you're going to see a couple of statistics, and some of these you may have seen before, but they certainly are pertinent to what we're talking about today. Number one, it's clear from statistics that in the United States, at least, there is an aging workforce. About 40% of the workforce is over 55. Right now, we've already got 500,000 open jobs in manufacturing. And when you put all these things together, with those people exiting the workforce, with there already being a number of open jobs, there's going to be about 2 million open manufacturing jobs by 2030. And that's only 4 years away. Wow. I mean, I see 2030 show up on something that seems far away. It's 2026. So this is facing us very, very soon. So for the workers, for the few workers that we have, and then the number is going to be potentially strained, you have to elevate the current worker to focus on analysis, problem solving, and innovation. And we have got to take out and automate the mundane tasks. There's lots of tasks out there you have to navigate through, potentially n number of screens, fill out fields to get some sort of a business object done, whether it's sending an ASN or creating a journal entry, whatever it might be. There's a number of things you have to navigate. We've got to start making sure that we automate these tasks and transition from a system of record to a system of action. We can't just know that we created scrap, that we logged scrap into the system. We want to know why. What were the factors that might have affected it? How can we possibly prevent it in the future? A system of action, not just something telling us we've got scrap or whatever the issue might be. And ERP absolutely should be part of the response. And the response that we made at QAD is the QAD Adaptive release powered by Champion Artificial Intelligence. In the system, in the ERP system, we've done a number of platform enhancements, including enabling all of our key workflows on the new web UI. We have created a very, very rigorous quality assurance environment where this is the most tested version of QAD ERP that we have had in our history. Making sure that we have reliability and also that our performance is at least equal to our peers. Also, we have an integration platform that's built on key elements of Boomi. And then, of course, we have our low-code extension platform where customers might need to tailor some particular process in a certain manner. We provide a way to do that. All right, talking about Champion AI. There's a few key areas that we have: implementation agents, AI for productivity, and process intelligence. I'll talk more about those in just a moment. And then the new capabilities, integrated collaborative workforce, warehouse management, production scheduling. So we've sunsetted the old MSW, PSW, replacing it with some really solid graphical Gantt chart based drag and drop UI in a very powerful scheduling capability. And then, of course, we've got some things that are appropriate for our verticals. Catch weight and batch balancing for food and beverage. There's a new Honda package for automotive. There's a number of different things that have been put into the functionality. All right, we'll talk Champion AI for just a moment. When we talk about Champion AI, we usually talk about it in four areas. One is the core AI platform. So think generative AI, retrieval augmented generation, or the RAG. The safety guardrails, contextual elements for AI, meaning if you have HR policies or product development procedures or something like that, manufacturing processes that are have heavily evolved and documented. Those are the kinds of things that you would load into your Champion AI to provide a context for the answers being returned to users. Then we have our agentic AI business cases, including our deep dive business optimizations. These are more of the heavy data science sorts of areas: inventory optimization, sourcing optimization, also sales optimization. And then we're looking after in our roadmap at more movements around costing analysis and so forth. Then we have our productivity agents, which I kind of alluded to in the beginning. Again, bringing home, if we are strained in the amount of open positions that we have too many, we don't have enough skilled people in our workforce. We've got to find a way to accommodate for that. We think that productivity agents within AI is definitely one way to do that. Of course, reducing and automating those recurring regular tasks. And then finally, something for the implementation side. So ERP can be a heavy lift. And what we've done is create this excellent UI that actually becomes a one-stop shop for the collaboration, the document management, the project management, the workflow of all of those different areas of a ERP project, but also applies AI. When you start loading those data files in there, the AI can automatically start mapping them to QAD concepts. So again, AI that is employed to help manufacturing companies get where they need to be. Next slide. So I'll introduce Wojciech. Wojciech is going to talk about the solution. So if we have these issues, and we have ERP as a great thing to consider to help address some of these issues, what Wojciech is going to talk about is how do you bring this into your organization. Wojciech, take it away.
Thank you. And indeed, you have set up the stage because three things that you talked about. So shift in manufacturing world, QED introducing adaptive, and finally adoption of artificial intelligence is the reason why the program I am about to introduce was put in place. Champion Benchmark Assessment, so CBA for short, is a consultative engagement that QED is offering to their customers free of charge. The main and the only goal of the CBA is to define your optimal path to QED Adaptive. As Tom mentioned, Adaptive is our latest and greatest version that has been tested and improved compared to the previous releases, new capabilities, new functionalities. That's why we all believe this is the version that will provide you the most benefits. During defining of the optimal path, we would like to take a look at your strategic objectives because the project needs to be aligned to those. We would like to understand your key business hurdles because probably several of them will be solved during the upgrade project. And finally, we would like to take a close and deep look into the current ERP environment that you're working with. So in order to deliver a CBA, Champion Benchmark Assessment, we have developed a well-structured process. I would like to walk you through the steps right now. The first one is actually to approve the CBA agreement. This is an easy step. from the admin perspective, because typically we just present you with a letter of intent, and you approving that letter is initiating the entire project. Once this is done, then our team in QAD, we are assigning a lead business consultant who will be walking you through the entire process, who will be almost like your project manager for this entire process. But the first thing that he or she will do is to share with you a CBA questionnaire. We would like to get prepared for the workshop, and we will be asking you to provide us a few information prior to leading the workshop itself. Some of the key business hurdles, we would like to understand them up front, and we would like to be able to discuss them and ask additional questions during the workshop. The second is database domain structure. Again, this is the subject of the upgrade. We would like to, again, understand this upfront, have the inventory of the databases, instances, domains that you are utilizing today to, again, to be able to prepare and get our heads around what is in front of us. Item number 3, top customization. So this is typically an elephant in the room when it comes to upgrades. We decided for the CBA to take top-down approach. What does it mean? It means that we will be asking you to identify 5 top customized areas, document them prior for us getting into the workshop. So during the workshop, we can analyze them with you, discuss them with you, and find mitigations going forward within the latest version. Finally, financial information. So in order for us to quantify benefits and potentially develop a return on investment calculation, we will need some relevant information related to your financial information related to your company that will later help us present you with the business case. Then the workshop itself. Workshop is typically takes between 1.5 days to 2 days. From our side, business consultants, services, and CSA, so cloud solution architects, are taking part in that workshop. And then once the workshop is complete, we provide you with a CBA findings presentation. And as you can imagine, your optimal path to adaptive is a crucial part of that deliverable. All right, so let's take a look at the workshop itself. It is a busy slide, but the workshop is actually the heart of the entire process. So we would like to discuss with you, going from the very top, your company's background. We would like to understand your strategic objectives to be able to align to them. We would like to understand your ERP strategy. We would like to understand your business hurdles there in order to see if we can mitigate them as part of the project. Then instances, databases, domains, entities, and sites in scope. That's something we need to understand very well, because this is actually the subject of the upgrade itself. But of course, we are not only IT focused. We would like to look at your business processes and your functionalities that are managed within those databases and domains. Top 5 customized areas, we discussed that. Upgrade sequence. So basically, are we thinking about upgrading as a big bang, so everyone goes live at the same time? Or maybe the upgrade will be sequenced and specific plans or sites or databases will go in sequence. Maybe there will be a core model developed. So all that we would like to discuss as part of that session. Interface strategy is an important topic. And the reason for that is, of course, interfaces are never easy, but QAD is providing an additional tool, integration platform that is delivered with QAD Adaptive that helps you integrate QAD to different applications. So that's why there is a good justification to discuss your interface strategy going forward. Another big topic, data migration. Are we migrating history? If yes, does that history need some cleansing or potentially archiving? Or maybe we go only with open balances and migrate only static and dynamic data. Limited history. So if we leave history behind, how do we get to this history? And several other topics around data. The next point is actually an educational element of the CBA. So we are introducing you to new adaptive functionalities. Some of those you have seen on Tom's slide, but there is of course much more, and other capabilities that are related with upgrading. And then last couple of things. So user adoption is really about the change management. So we would like to take a close look at your lessons learned, if you have them from the previous project. We would like to understand, what is your users' attitude, how they are interacting with the system, in order to define the best way of mitigating the change management that the upgrade might be. And finally, ideal timeline. Potentially the deadline that you would like to go live with, potentially other projects that are competing with the upgrade. That is what we are discussing under that point. And we would like to leave, not the workshop maybe, as well, but we would like to leave you with the deliverable that will list risks and success factors. So you can actually start mitigating them before you start the project. So they are no longer the risks, or they have contingency plans to address them. All right, so now the deliverable itself, as I mentioned, it is delivered in form of the presentation, and it has two parts to it. The first part is the how. So how to get to adaptive, what are the specific prescribed steps for your environment or environments? What is your instance strategy, future one? What is the implementation sequence, and all the things you can see on the left-hand side. But the second part, though, is the why. So why to upgrade? What is the project justification? What is the business case for migrating to adaptive? And this is the second part we are providing as part of the assessment. So with that, I wanted to show you a couple of slides. Pictures are always, examples, and pictures are always good to kind of touch and feel what you'll be getting from the assessment. So I have a couple of slides for the how and a couple of slides for the why. So let's start with the how. So what you can see, this slide is relatively simple, but there's quite a lot of consultative knowledge and discussions that went into it. So on one hand side, on the left-hand side, you can see the inventory of current databases. So that's the first one. The second, on the right-hand side, you see the agreed instance strategy. So this specific customer agreed that they want to have two instances of adaptive, one in North America and one international. Then another element that is here on the slide is what is the sequence of migrating those databases. In that case, the database covers a plant, so we can migrate the entire database at the same time, and you see those steps. And the last thing that is kind of hidden on this slide is the way how the data will be migrated. So you see at the very bottom, step 3, row conversion. That means that they are converting that database. The version they are on, they are able to do so, and they'll be able to run after doing a technical conversion in the adaptive without much change. But the other databases, they decided, or we decided together, that the most optimal way will be to start with open balance. So do not bring history because of the structural changes to the databases, domains that we are going through, but also because of the old versions that this customer is on, 2008 SE and 2009 SE. Another slide, this one does not need as much explanation, but basically we would like to show you the timeline. Sometimes seeing the timeline, the high-level upgrade project timeline, will bring additional questions, will bring questioning, September 26, are we really starting the rollout of Business Unit 2? It is actually our busiest period. So having this on a slide and having that discussed, again, brings additional value and mitigates the risks that the potential project can entail. All right, so now let's shift the gears, we'll go to the how. I have again a couple of slides that I wanted to share from the project justification perspective. So this one is quantifying benefits, and you can see at the bottom premium freight, material, labor, SG&A cost, and inventory carrying cost. Reducing those are so we did identify as part of this specific project, this specific example, that there is a reduction possible in all those areas, and we projected those reduction across the 5 years, ramping them up, of course, based on how the project will be unfolding, when the project will go live, and when the first benefits will be able to be realized. So now, if we put benefits together with the investment summary, we can actually present you with a return on investment. So again, the chart that is depicting cum benefits and cum from the previous slide and cum TCO, total cost of ownership, and showing you the break-even moment. So when the cost will actually be outweighed by the benefits. In our case, is month number 15. So with that, I wanted to move to the next part of the webinar, and there is a poll that we will share with you in a minute. And once you're going through that poll, there's 3 questions there. The first one is what you value the most. Is that step-by-step path to adaptive, the how? Or maybe a business case, the why? Or maybe your company needs both of them in order to take a decision. We'll give you a few minutes to go over the questions.
Lots of responses coming in. This is really good perspective for us. So thank
Tom,
you.
we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Or maybe it's just me.
Michaela, can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep, you're good.
Okay.
Oh.
And you should be able to.
It looks like it is me. Something happened to my technical environment here. So let me quickly restart.
And that poll is done and the results have been shared. So it looks like 17% of you thought the how, a step-by-step path to adaptive, is the most valued. 17% also thought the why, a business case for migrating to adaptive, is most important. And then 67% thought both the how and the why.
Okay, great.
Enter your participant
context.
ID followed by pound. Otherwise, just press pound to continue.
And I think with that, we can move on to
I think we can move on, yeah.
The Q&A.
Please re-enter the meeting passcode followed by pound.
So there were 2 questions submitted as of now, and I know some are flowing in at this point. So the first question, Tom, how long does the program take?
So, as I think Wojciech mentioned, it usually is a day and a half or 2 days on site. And then I think about a week or so after that, the findings will be put together, and then then a presentation can be scheduled to return that information to the customer or to the party that's engaging in the CBA. Wojciech, can you not hear me? I don't know if he can. Okay, that's all right. Go ahead, Michaela.
The next one that came in, if we are already on 2022 Enterprise Edition Adaptive UX Cloud, would we need to do a data migration?
So, that's a great question for Wojciech. I'm not sure that, I think we're having some type of technical difficulties. Um, Tell you what, let's move to the next question. I'll see if I can get an answer.
Awesome. Um, does adaptive UI include champion AI without requiring red zone?
Yes, adaptive includes champion AI without a requirement for the user to have red zone. That is correct.
And can the adaptive UI upgrade be deployed on-premise or in our AWS environment?
So right now that is available in the AWS environment. If there were any exceptions to that, I'm just not aware at this point. I'd have to investigate that. I don't know if that's going to be available, but
Okay. Is it
for
possible to
on-premise.
host production only in AWS while keeping non-production on-premise with near
That
real-time OER replication for potential DR or cloud to prem fallback?
Yeah, I suspect that that's not going to be available, but I will follow up on that. So you're talking like, dev and test and on-premise and then a production and productive environment AWS. I'm pretty sure that's not going to be enabled that way, but let me dig into that one. Great question. Great
Awesome.
questions.
And we'll keep note of, I know Antonella and Kasha on the back end are keeping note of these questions as well. Is the CBA done by QAD or the partners that have been enabled?
Just
Yeah,
FYI, I
so
can hear you guys now.
okay.
Great.
Wojciech, why don't you take that one?
Yes, so it is actually done by both by QAD or by the partner. It's probably the way how we are managing that is that if this is a direct QAD customer, it is very likely that it will be done by our team, by QAD. But if it is a customer who is working with the partner, so then the partner will be leading it. That's the rule of thumb. But of course we are working closely with partners. So in some cases we may add someone from the partner community to our team to be able to augment it and to be able to turn those CBAs as quickly as possible.
And then what are the costs for the CBA?
There is no
So
cost for the CBA. Go ahead, Wojciech.
yeah, I mean, actually it is free of charge. Yes.
Awesome. And then if we can go back to the question, if we are already on 2022 Enterprise Edition Adaptive UX Cloud, would we need to do a data migration? Was that the question that we needed Wojciech for, Tom?
Yes.
So the very high level answer, because of course sometimes there is a devil in the details, but typically you wouldn't, unless there is something that we are not aware of. So the migration from, I think, any EE database, so 2022 being of course one of them, is relatively easily achievable through the conversion. If you're on older database, then we need to discuss more. But of course, the CBA is created with the goal to answer that very question and
Right.
see if there is any other things that we need to take into consideration that may change that answer that I just provided.
Right. Like customization, rationalization, for example. Yeah.
Yes, or changing of domain structure, for
Yes,
example. So if we are
absolutely.
migrating from 3 domains to one or the other way.
Right.
But yeah.
Okay. Does Q extend as we know it today still work in Adaptive?
Yes. So the short answer is yes. It is working with Adaptive. Adaptive is based on 2022 EE from the database perspective. But of course, it has all the web UI interface on top of it. We do have though a QExtend replacement, which is integration platform. Sorry, that I mentioned during the webinar. So that is, of course, a point of discussion. Do you want to stay with QExtend, or do you think of migrating to the Boomi-based integration platform?
Mhm.
Okay. Does the benchmark still stay at no cost even if done by a partner?
Yes.
Okay. And then in that, it looks like we have to work with our partners to migrate to Adaptive. Can QAD architects take part in the workshop to finalize the findings?
Yes, 100%. And the last CBA we have actually delivered. The partner is the one who is making the implementation, but the customer decided to invite us and run a CBA with us. So we worked together with the partner and architected the solution together, put some pros and cons and weights and risks for the as a one team. So the partner, the customer, and us.
Great. And then the last question that came through, will NetUI still be an option / supported in Adaptive? And if so, are there any reasons to consider that?
So .NET is still there.
It's supported.
Supported, yes. But if we are in .NET, we are losing some big chunk of the recent QAD development and future QAD development, because all the recent QAD developments were into the adaptive user interface, AUX. Extensibility and other things are based on the non.NET, so web UI type of interface. This said, yeah, the answer is yes, but we believe it is worth strongly considering going to AUX.
Great. I believe that is all the questions. I am going to drop in the chat next steps, which will include registration for our second webinar, and then just to sign up, the webpage to sign up for the Champion Benchmark Assessment. Oh, it looked like we have one more question that came in. Can we transition to QAD adaptive module by module? Sales first, followed by purchasing, for example.
So my understanding is that potentially you are on the latest and greatest version using .NET. So let's run this scenario. You are on the latest, greatest version running .NET, and right now you would like to implement adaptive user interface for sales. Yes, that is possible. And then for purchasing, that is possible as well. So from that perspective, yes, if you are on the older version and you would like to take sales and go to adaptive, that would be rather difficult. We will need to discuss details during the CBA.
Great.
All
Well,
right.
thank you everyone for attending,
Yeah.
and
And
thank you,
Michaela,
Tom and Wojciech.
no,
Yes.
no problem. And Michaela, on the next slide, we encourage you to start your journey. The way to do that is there is a link that's been provided. I believe the link has been surfaced in there, Michaela. Is that correct?
Yes, it's in the
And
chat for everyone.
in the chat for everyone. So click that link. That will take you to a landing page. You can actually fill that out to start the process and get a benchmark scheduled. If you have any questions or concerns, certainly my email is there at the bottom. I'll make that available if you have any questions or it's a little unclear in the process. But feel free to reach out. But I encourage you to click the link, start the journey. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. And the information for our next webinar in this series is also in the chat as well. So feel free to sign up. But thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye now.